One of these freaking days, I will learn to click the mute thing. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Thank you, Kevin. Dear Lord. I got to mute it during the thing because, oh my God. I got to mute it during the countdown and I always forget to click it when I go live. Anyway, welcome to Miles Culture Plate. I'm your host, Mild Kevin Miles. 5 minutes late now, thanks to this. So yeah, we're talking about the storm. Anyway, some of that was me giving a moment of silence to the victims of Hurricane Helene. So yeah, I don't know what to say. I guess it was a long moment of silence. Fuck. Anyway, 52 people killed in 5 states, including Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Virginia, including 3 firefighters, a mother, her 1-month-old twins, an 89-year-old woman who was struck by a tree that hit her house. 1,500 federal disaster response personnel have been deployed to the region, including Alabama, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina. 140-mile-an-hour winds in North Carolina. Biggest concerns around here are debris flows, which are very wet, very fast moving, and can travel long distance, said Brad Johnson, who studies landslides and erosion at Davidson College. Added that debris flows can travel over a mile, carrying rocks, trees, and other hazards. Heavy rains set a record in Atlanta, which received its highest 48-hour rainfall on record over the past 2 days. The Georgia Climate Office tweeted on Friday that it has already seen 11.12 inches of rain, beating a previous record of 9.59 set in 1886. In North Carolina, rainfall totals were staggering: 29.58 inches for Busiek, North Carolina, 24.2 for nearby Mount Mitchell State Park, and 13 inches in Boone, 55 miles away. So yeah, I mean this was quite the storm. And again, if you I say again, you folks didn't hear it the first time. If you or your family or loved ones have anyone dealing with the aftermath of this storm, or God forbid, the lives taken from it, then my prayers go out to you all. So okay, we've been following this Alabama story here. This is from Reuters. The U.S. Department of Justice has filed a lawsuit against the state of Alabama, alleging it violated voter rights law. So, yeah, the program the state said was aimed at removing non-citizens from the voter rolls. The government's saying it violated federal law because it's too close to the November election. In mid-August, Alabama Secretary of State Allen announced a process to remove non-citizens registered to vote in Alabama, citing over 3,200 people he said were registered to vote and were not U.S. citizens. The quiet period provision of federal law exists to prevent eligible voters from being removed from the rolls as a result of last-minute error-prone efforts, the DOJ said in a statement on Friday. The quiet period provision requires states to complete systematic programs aimed at removing names of ineligible voters by no later than 90 days before federal elections. The Justice Department said its review found that both native-born and naturalized U.S. citizens have received letters stating that their voting record have been made inactive and that they've been placed on a path for removal from Alabama's voter registration list. I was elected Secretary of State by the people of Alabama, and it is my constitutional duty to ensure that only Americans can vote in our elections, Allen told the media in response to the lawsuit. The November 5th elections include those for President, the U.S. Senate, and the House of Representatives. Of course. What is up with these news outlets, including irrelevant bullshit that everyone should already know? You mean a presidential election might have candidates for U.S. Senate, House of Representatives, and President on the ballot? I mean, anyone. Are we that stupid now to where we need things spelled out this much in every article? Are you trying to reach a minimum word count here? Donald Trump, okay, yeah. Yeah, Donald Trump's facing Kamala Harris. Yeah, oh my god. Okay, so there's that. And let's talk about the border, folks. Let's talk about the border. The Vice President of the United States and current candidate for president, Kamala Harris, has finally made a trip to the border, as borders are. And just as she does so, ICE has released some new data. So let's bring this up from the New York Post. We got back-to-back New York Posts talking about this visit to the border. Federal numbers released Friday show that more than 15,000 illegal immigrants that are currently living in the US are convicted or accused of homicide. Now, Kevin says, "Yes, we are that stupid." Yeah, I apparently so. We need to be told who's running for president and that elections happen with federal candidates. Yes. Um, so you remember when Donald Trump was criticized for saying they're not sending us their best? You remember this? Like it became this big thing, and then he called MS-13 animals, and people were shocked and called him a racist. Now we have 15,000 murderers just walking free in the United States. Immigration and Customs provided the data to Representative Gonzalez of Texas, who published it as Air Force Two flew to southern Arizona for the Democratic presidential nominee's second border trip. Second border trip since becoming President Biden's point person reducing illegal immigration. As of July 21st, there were 662,566 non citizens with criminal histories. Now, that you read that number right. 662,566. That's a medium sized city, folks. Non citizens with criminal histories on ICE's national docket. 13,000 criminally convicted murderers, tweeted Gonzalez, a critic of Harris's performance, who represents more than 800 miles of territory along the border. Americans deserve to be safe in our own communities. ICE provided the data to Gonzalez on Wednesday and did not indicate how many of the criminals entered during Harris's tenure as the so-called border czar. Under Biden and Harris, millions of immigrants have been released in the U.S. to await asylum proceedings after the administration repudiated former President Donald Trump's Remain in Mexico policy. ICE is currently detaining 277 migrants who've been convicted of homicide and 51 who face such charges, the agency said, indicating that those individuals are likely in the process of being deported. Yeah, deport them back there so they could just walk right back across our border. Federal authorities are aware of, but not currently detaining, 13,099 illegal immigrants living in the U.S. who've been convicted of homicide and 1,845 who've been accused of it, according to the data. Sanctuary jurisdictions do not honor ICE detainer requests when an inmate is about to be released, meaning that the freshly freed criminal suspects and offenders who've completed their terms of confinement aren't picked up and placed into deportation. Wow. Here you go. Other crimes among illegal immigrants known to be living in the U.S. include assault with 523 convicted or suspected rapists in ICE custody, and 20,061 are not in custody. And assault with more than 100,000 convicted, not in ICE custody. Yeah, Kevin ABQ. That's like 3 murderers per county. Oh, dear Lord. Anyway, so not only does this look bad for Kamala Harris, she decided to make it look even worse by wearing a $60,000 necklace to the border. She gotta have that fashion on. Dark sunglasses, a brown jacket, and of course, Donald Trump tweeted that, this is his section of border wall he built that she's, hanging out in front of for her press, uh, situation. Okay, so here's the necklace. Allegedly, here it is on Tiffany and Co. $62,000 necklace. Oh, oops. I meant to switch that over and instead and here you can clearly see it on her. So yeah, while your communities are being overrun by murderers and your groceries are inflated to high heaven, she decides to walk safely around the border guarded by federal men with guns while wearing $62,000 jewelry. Gotta love it, folks. Anyway, so that's your border news, and I saw this video I thought was pretty funny. Here's a good little song for it all.
To the MAGAs on the right, they know I'm beating Kamala. This race won't even be tied. Her policies are nutso. She's out her goddamn mind. She just repeats the same thing, regurgitating her lines. She thinks that immigration without paperwork is good. Clearly not too much power underneath Kamala's hood. Borders are, it's what you are. Borders are. Cackling Kamala.
I love this. Folks, if you know a longer version of this song, I would love it.
I promise I'll secure you. You'll be in better hands. It'd be a flippin' free for all with what Kamala plans. Borders are. It's what you are. Borders are. Laugh it up, Kamala. This lady, she's cackling crazy.
Okay, so there we go. There's borders are. Folks, we're doomed if we don't get control of this dang border. We really are. In other bad news in world news and foreign news, I say bad news. Look, depending on where you sit on this whole Israel conversation, this may or may not be bad news to you, but I think from a United States standpoint, the stuff going on between Israel and Lebanon and now Iran, this is not looking good, folks. These are the things that we used to worry about in global politics. And now I'm just going to scroll the headlines of the world news feed on Google. I'm not going to open a single article, but I just want you to see what the world news is on Google. So we got a statement from President Joe Biden on the death of Hassan Nasrallah. Now, Hassan Nasrallah is the second Hezbollah head to be killed within 6 hours. Iran Supreme Leader taken to a secure location. Iran threatens crushing blows after Nasrallah killed by Israel. Nasrallah's blood will not go unavenged, Iran warns. Iranian embassy in Beirut warns of that the attack on Hezbollah's headquarters changes the rules of the game. So we got some British clerics having sex with Belgian priests. I don't know. Flooding in Nepal. Austria's far right winning elections. Okay, but here we go. Right back to Israel and Hezbollah. Targeted strikes in Beirut. Ongoing offensive in Lebanon. Delegates walk out of the UN General Assembly chamber as Netanyahu takes the stage. Netanyahu declares Israel is winning. Netanyahu warns Iran, there's nowhere beyond our reach. Consultant says that's all fake news, not reliable. Well, I mean, sure. But there's a reason we're being shown it. There's a reason the United States wants to beat the war drums. There's a reason all of this is happening right before our presidential election. Abuse victims in the Catholic Church. Japanese Prime Minister. Here we go. Jerusalem Post. Israel reportedly hacks Beirut airport control tower. Warns Iranian plane not to land. 17 killed in Cape Town, South Africa. Putin draws a nuclear red line to the west. Climate protesters vandalize Van Gogh's sunflowers. And then here we go. Biden told allies Netanyahu does not want to end the fighting in Lebanon. And then this is from yesterday. Israel softens stance on a U.S.-led ceasefire plan for Lebanon. And then, of course, after that, yesterday, that was posted yesterday. And then, of course, they bombed Lebanon. U.S. frustrated, says the ceasefire plan rejected by Netanyahu had been coordinated with him. Consultant says, I was off the coast of Beirut during early 80s conflict. That was when I learned we're not being told the truth. Sure. I look, we on Mild's Culture Plate, I want to talk about these things from a media narrative standpoint. That's why I'm not clicking on any of these and reading the propaganda. The point I'm saying is, if you're a voter in the United States, if you're a citizen in the United States, if you're someone in the United States who's anti-war, I mean, right here, look at this headline from Axios. Axios, one of the worst news outlets. Israel asks the U.S. to deter Iran. They want us. Hey, we got great liquor in the chat. By the way, cheers to the consultant over on YouTube, and cheers to great liquor over on Rumble. Iran Revolutionary Guard general died in Israeli strike, according to the AP and Barron's. So yeah, I mean, at the very least, they want us to believe that we're at war with Iran right now. I mean, that's really what's going on here. Is at the very least, our mainstream media wants us to know we are allegedly at war with Iran right now. And again, I try not to stress too much on wars being fought on the other side of the globe, whether they exist or not. But I just figured I would show you what the world news tab on Google looks like right now. It is a whole bunch of fear mongering. It is a whole bunch of insanity. And it's a whole bunch of, hey, look at how badass Israel is for killing these terrorists. And, look, if you're an Israel supporter, you're all for it. I get it. I just don't want the United States to be drug into war with Iran. I'm surprised we have not, through the whole Bush administration, Obama, I'm surprised we weren't drug into a war with Iran before. But whatever happens, it's going to be used for military executive power for the next president, whether it be Trump or Harris. It's going to be used to drain wealth from Americans and say, we're using it for war funding. Rah. I don't want to see war in Iran. And that seems to be what the news is pointing at. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and move on a little bit because we do have another. Oh, yeah. Yes. According to companies like Lockheed, this is good for business. Yeah. Very good for business for the military industrial complex. So we have a news story that kind of sparked the media outlets' attention today. We had JD Vance having his supporters meet at this sandwich shop. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up a video here that was taken.
It's a riot. The manager went outside, told them they need to leave. They will call the police if he comes south.
Okay, so JD Vance is in his car. The bartender says it's a riot. If he comes out, they'll call the police.
Unfortunately, he cannot come in.
He can't
so what's
come
going
in.
to happen is that they're going to take down our name, all our information, so the next time the kitchen crew's running out because everyone's canceling their orders.
Everyone's canceling their orders.
All the orders, and we're just paying for what we drank, and then everyone's leaving. But yes, unfortunately, Vance cannot come out of his car, cannot shake our hands because
Primanti Brothers Sandwich Shop
does not want him in
JD Vance
whatsoever. So
in their restaurant.
What's happening.
That we leave.
Yep.
We are now banned from Primanti Brothers.
Yep.
Okay, now they're going to go outside.
So there's the VP. This is as close as we're going to get to him.
They will call.
He said, okay, so that young lady was with the Trump campaign, and she just said, we're taking everybody's names and phone numbers.
Absolutely.
We paid for everybody's food. We gave them a nice tip.
Okay, so then JD Vance says, we paid for everybody's food. We gave them a nice tip. Now, hang on. The story gets deeper here. This is the part. Now, listen to what he says about the restaurant. He urges people not to harass the restaurant.
And of course, when I gave a nice tip, I said, no taxes on tip.
No taxes on tips. Had to bring that up.
It's all right. Don't hold it against her. She just got a little nervous, but it's a great local business. Let's keep on supporting it. And
great local business. Keep on supporting it. Don't hold it against her. She just got a little nervous. Well,
November 5th or before. Go
unfortunately, Senator Vance may not have been completely correct about that. First off, Priamonti Brothers isn't necessarily a local business. It's kind of a smaller chain. It's regional, kind of across the Northeast there. And yeah. Okay. So here's what's interesting. Back in August, diners at Priamonti Brothers in Pittsburgh were kicked out so that Kamala Harris could do a campaign stunt. Fun times. And then, breaking news from the Post-Millennial, the JD Vance campaign had prior approval from the restaurant to visit there, but were shut down by their corporate offices. Sources close to the campaign told the Millennial that they had approval from the manager of the shop to go in and do a meet and greet with people from the area, but more than 100 people were there. After arrived, everything was fine, but when the media showed up and the manager called corporate higher up shut it down. So there you go. Perhaps they didn't have the right approval from the corporate office. I get it. when the media shows up, you do have to make a phone call. But at the same time, shame on Priamonti brothers. Shame on Priamonti brothers. Now look, I try not to be very fucking biased. And to be honest, I wouldn't care whether or not I got to ever meet JD Vance. It's not a big deal to me, but it's a big deal to some voters. And the idea that you're gonna approve one candidate to the degree that you will kick out your customers to bring in actors for one candidate's stunt. But you won't let another candidate have just a regular old meetup. Sultan says it's hard to hide a class act. Yeah. All right. One more funny news story I want to get into here. Woman arrested after breaking into home and making pasta dinner in Wisconsin. So shout out to Wisconsin. You know, we got this ongoing joke that all the good murderers come from Wisconsin, and this chick didn't murder anybody, but definitely breaking into people's home and just cooking yourself some pasta. Wisconsin woman was arrested Tuesday. That would have been last Tuesday. Yeah, no, this Tuesday. After allegedly broke into a home and pretended to know the resident. The suspect, Joanna Kelly Lee, was charged with burglary and criminal trespass. She was apprehended around 10:40 p.m. Tuesday. Police say they were alerted to the incident after the home's resident returned home and saw someone inside. Madison Police Department told Fox News Digital the victim was startled to see all the lights on after she'd been gone most of the day. Police arrived and observed through the windows a female casually walking around the interior of the home. The female, later identified as Joanna Lee, came to the door in response to orders given by the police. Authorities say she calmly advised police she was allowed to be in the home and even referenced the resident by name. She provided a detailed story about how she'd met the resident at a coffee shop earlier and had been given keys to the house, police said. Lee had been in the house long enough to cook herself a shrimp and pasta dinner. The resident, however, insisted that she never met Lee and Lee did not have permission to be in her home eating her food. Authorities later determined the suspect went through the resident's mail to learn her name and fabricate a story. She was promptly arrested and is being held at county jail. Authorities are investigating. So, what do you do, guys? What do? You come home from a long day and you see this chick in your house, in your chair, eating your shrimp pasta. What do you do? Well, you have them arrested if you're these people. Bill Maher had an interesting take. Now, look, I will admit, I dropped the ball on this one. Usually every September, I try to remember to celebrate Constitution Day. I've had a rough couple of weeks, folks. I'm not going to lie. And it came and went and bypassed my radar. So Bill Maher had something to say about people like me who don't properly celebrate Constitution Day. And I thought it was interesting. And let's go ahead and listen to what Bill Maher has to say about the United States Constitution.
Constitution Day was last week. It's an actual federal holiday, but no one noticed, despite the fact that it's probably the greatest legal document ever. Is it flawed? Of course. It was written by humans.
No, not really.
All white men, as depicted in this illustration from Google AI. But how about looking at the actual ideas?
Gotta love the Google joke.
I won't hold my breath for that, because only 14% of 8th graders are proficient in history now, and only 22% in civics, which may be why 4 in 10 Gen Zers say the authors of the Constitution are best described as villains. Wow. It's amazing, since in 1776, James Monroe was 18. Alexander Hamilton was 21 and James Madison 25. Joe Biden was only 30.
I hear you there, consultant. Hell, sometimes I don't even remember my birthday.
America's founders, they were the Gen Z of their day. And when they were your age, they started a country. What the fuck have you done? So, no, the Constitution isn't perfect because it wasn't written by Taylor Swift, but...
You know, I just noticed for the first time, look how crooked his glasses are and therefore his ears. Sorry.
And yes, the
Just something I
founders
noticed.
made excruciating compromises. Obviously, slavery. But slavery was a deal breaker for the southern states. So there would have been two countries. And then to end slavery in North America, it would have involved invading a sovereign nation instead of having the moral high ground of keeping a union together. Would that have been better? History's complicated, and Gen Z reasoning is not. They think...
Yeah, you know, I have this debate with a lot of people about slavery. It's like our founding fathers, yes, a lot of them were slave owners, but they also envisioned a country in which the people could change our laws. They instituted the amendment process into the Constitution and started immediately amending the Constitution. That amendment process would eventually be used to ratify the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments. I mean, the founding fathers literally created the process by which slavery would be ended. And yet we demonize them.
They're pure, but they're really just simplistic. They know two things. White people did some very bad things, and no, that's it. That's all they know. That's what they know.
All right, so there we go. There's Bill Maher on recognizing that current generations know jack and shit about the Constitution and instead want to take our republic and turn it into a villain, or as he said, the founding fathers. But look, I've been getting into arguments with people about the Electoral College this week. I mean, people are just dumb. They are just dumb. They literally don't understand our form of government at all. And yet they will insist that they are correct about their assessment of how good or bad aspects of our government are. Mind you, these are the same people who will argue with you about slavery and racism and then say, no, the popular vote's important. Folks, when slavery and racism were popular ideas in this country, the idea of giving people rights became more popular not by a mainstream media, not from the Taylor Swift of the 1800s and 1900s. It came about because small groups of people with better ideas had the ability to affect change in their local communities, and that reverberated outward. The word democracy is quite literally the tyranny of the majority. And the idea that we're going to elect presidents through a popular vote squashes your ability to make change at the local level, squashes the ability for small, unpopular groups of people to protect their own rights. Anyway, I just had to rant about that for a little bit. It is what it is. Here's an interesting video I saw on the AP of the stuff going on, the Hurricane Helene. Here's a video out of Atlanta of a Fox weather reporter Giving a weather report and then saving a woman's life right in the middle of it. Check this shit out.
We've got this this lady drove into the area that's flooded out, and she's screaming right now. I just called 911. Fire department is coming in, but she drove right into the flood waters. This is the Peachtree Creek, and it is rising at the moment. We got you. 911, they're coming. You're good. You're good.
He said, "You're good,"
Man,
and she said, "No,
it's a
no, it's
situation.
coming in
We'll
the
get back
car."
to you in a little bit. I'm going to go see if I can help this lady out a little bit more, you guys. I'll be back.
Yeah. All right, Bob.
And then
Bob.
there is Bob carrying her out. So for our viewers, Bob was doing a live shot for Fox and Friends. That's who he was talking to while he was hearing that lady scream in the background. He had already called EMS.
Now, how many people just couldn't be fucking bothered, right? How many people have you driven past that look like they were in help and you just couldn't fucking be bothered? I will admit I've done it once or twice. I mean, some situations you have to be fucking careful because you go fucking help somebody and it turns out to be a ruse and they want to rob you, or I had some people chase my car down. It was 1:00 in the fucking morning and I had people chase my car into the middle of the street, into the oncoming lanes of traffic because I swerved around them as they were yelling at me. I didn't know what the fuck they needed. I didn't care. I'm not stopping at 1 a.m. in the middle of the hood. But anyway, got on a tangent there. But this guy, he's just there to do a weather report. He's there to earn his paycheck. He's not there to be Superman. He's not there to be a firefighter. He's a weather reporter. And he heard this woman calling out and he went and was her savior.
He had already called 911. And then this is video of Bob pulling her out. Bob is over 6 feet tall. He's like 6'4". And you can see that the water is up to his chest and he has her on her back. Now that you've sort of had a second, because this is a very active situation, you have first responders. Bob, we're going to pass it off to you.
Reunited. There you go. Yeah, you guys reunited. All right, good. You're good. You good? Yeah, don't. Yeah, man. Hey, absolutely. Hey, absolutely. Yeah, of course. Of course. Anytime. I'll do it again. Don't go that way. Go this way, all right?
Don't go that way.
Oh. Hold on.
Oh, no.
Bob.
Yeah, Bob, thank you.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Yeah,
I'll do it again. Hey, good luck.
Hey, captured on camera. I had to show something that was good news. Because, everything's bad news now. I had to show something that was good news because Lord knows, man, we need it. We need it. So yeah, don't be a sideline sitter. Now, granted, if it's 1:00 in the morning, don't put yourself in severe danger. But dear Lord, if someone's crying for help and they're clearly in a situation like that where, hey, a little bit of intervention might be the difference between life or death. Hey, man, do your thing. Have compassion. Have a heart. I did come across this video on Twitter from MJ Truth Ultra. Here's another doom and gloom yet feel good story. I wanted you to hear this now former FBI agent give testimony. I wanted you to hear this testimony here.
And everybody in the minority party, Donald Trump administered FBI.
Skip.
Time, Mr.
I consider the hearing today
Here we
my
go.
last act of service as a public servant for the United States of America. And I'll give you my professional opinion.
He has a warning here.
I was an intel professional for our country for many years, and I would give recommendations, and I'd also look at indications and warnings. So I would offer this to the American people as my warning to them. Since this is a warning to the American people, I say, I personally have no confidence that the FBI will rein in its own conduct. I've been persecuted along with Garrett, Steve and Kyle, and countless other whistleblowers. It is my opinion that the Bureau used reprisal and fear to control the workforce. It has been a seemingly effective tactic. I personally believe
So essentially
that there are
going
no
after
effective
whistleblowers.
checks and balances against them conducting lawless action with any type of correction in a legitimate time frame. I welcome the work of the IG, but I think any type of lawless action, there's no legitimate time frame to rein them back in. Their ability to overclassify information can allow them to stonewall forever. To the American people, you have a duty as a citizen to vote, and I strongly urge you to do so. It's how you participate in the American experience. I know people have doubts about election integrity, but you must vote. It is your claim. Stake your claim and don't forfeit it willingly. Have your voice heard. My other recommendations.
Remember, the more people that vote now, this is one of the misnomers. I have heard some people this election cycle say to me, "I'm not going to vote. It doesn't matter. They're just going to steal it anyway." Folks, it's harder to steal an election with more eyeballs on it. The more people that go to the polling places and notice weird things happening around them. Now, I'm not saying document everything, make it this big giant deal if one little mistake is made while you're there. I've seen little mistakes at my polling place. I didn't think it was a cause for concern that our entire election is being stolen. But the more we know what the election process is supposed to be, what it is, and go to the polls, the more of us that go to the polls and vote, the more of us that see the process in action, the more people that sign up to be poll watchers, the harder it is for them to pull off a steal. Folks, when I lived in Missouri, I don't think I ever saw a poll worker under the age of 60. I don't know what we need to do to change that. I know we have a lot of unemployed folks my age and younger. And some of them have their own political beliefs and whatever. Like, those people should be watching our polls. Those people should be signing up to help out. Now, granted, I say this, I could potentially take some time off and do that. I might do that next time around. We might have I might make a little community here at Mild's Culture Plate of people who are willing to sign up and just talk about becoming poll watchers or something. I don't know if that's illegal or anything, but I'll have to look into it. I'll have to see what I can do. But damn it, the more of us that show up, the more of us that witness the process in action, the better. Go vote. Don't let them stealing an election stop you from voting.
Are in the natural order.
And again, I'm just saying elections are, since we're on YouTube, look, when I say them stealing election, I mean, if that's your belief. Now, remember, our government, the official position of the government, the official position of YouTube, and I'm even saying elections are supposed to be free and fair and without undue influence. So, do not let that discourage you to vote. Do not let people saying that this election might be stolen discourage you from voting. Go vote.
First, vote. The second is the Second Amendment. Arm yourself and know how to defend yourself.
There we go. Your first duty is to go vote. Your second duty is to exercise your Second Amendment. But I would argue your First Amendment and the rest of your Bill of Rights as well.
Make 3 to 4 friends in your neighborhood and promise to come to each other's mutual aid in times of hardship. And during the Great Depression, people stocked up a pantry. So I think that's a good practice, especially in our economic times. And make sure you have 3 to 4 months of food. As a person of faith,
3 to 4 months of
rosary,
food.
Go to the First Friday devotions. That's for everybody, all my brothers and sisters of all faiths. And I know I'm
practice
Catholic,
your faith.
And read the gospel of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and live it every day. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for the time.
See, he didn't advise people to go after the FBI, right? He didn't advise people to go after crooked politicians. He wasn't doing the fear mongering that a certain political party has been doing about the threats he's facing and the threats, blah, 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 threats to democracy. All right, folks. He simply said, be a good, practice your faith, exercise your constitutional rights, and practice your right to vote, and stock up on food, and get to know your neighbors and agree to help each other out. Those 5 things, if everyone could just agree to do those things, we could change the world. We literally could change the world. Okay, we're going to move on to the Love Does Admonish segment. If y'all aren't familiar, if we have any newbies here who aren't familiar with the Love Does Admonish segment, there's a YouTube channel called Love Don't Judge, and it frequently highlights a type of relationship that might receive haters on the internet. And here at Mild's Culture Plate, we tend to watch one of these every Saturday and determine whether some of the hate and judgment these relationships are getting are self-inflicted, or there's an aspect of the relationship that has nothing to do with the actual love, whether or not their love should be admonished. So we call this segment Love Does Admonish. Shout out to the Love Don't Judge YouTube channel. We're gonna Yes, Kevin ABQ. Practice free speech, exercise religion, and your ability to hit a target. And just don't hit this kind of target. So we're going to bring this up now. Love Don't Judge. Haters call me a tramp and feel sorry for my boyfriend.
This is Shauna.
Spicy content creating.
She fell in love with Ricky, but she has multiple other boyfriends, which has tested their relationship.
Oh, here we go.
I would be spending too much time messaging my online boyfriends.
I was pretty unsure about it, and we ended up having a little bit of a fight about it. A few of my friends calling her a few nasty names, telling me not to date her and trust her.
Online,
calling her nasty. Your friends are calling her names. Now look, people are entitled to their opinion, man. Even your friends should be entitled to their opinion.
Comments are brutal about their unusual setup.
People they feel sorry for my partner. She's a absolute tramp. Just that one there.
I mean,
thank you.
I mean, here's the thing, right? If you're comfortable with the truth, if it's not a lie, I mean, you can't get too mad. If you're being a hoe and you get called a hoe, fucking embrace it.
I started adult content creating back in January 2021. So I've been doing it for about 3 years now. I was a micro influencer, I guess you could say, on Instagram. And my first week that I started on OF, I made $7K just from photos.
$7,000.
Relationship.
$7,000 from still images. Fellas, we too many damn thirsty dudes around.
Because I give men online the girlfriend experience. My online boyfriends have helped.
Okay, so first off, let me just start off by saying one of my biggest problems is the ways in which we use the English language. And we just take these words and just make them mean whatever the fuck we want. Boyfriend has a meaning, right? And so if you start off this paragraph, you're telling the camera here by saying, men pay me for the boyfriend experience. Okay, that term, boyfriend experience, means something totally different than the word boyfriend. So then when you go on to then say, and my boyfriends, no, they're not your boyfriends. They're your customers. They are your customers. Oh yeah, Kevin ABQ says she's Australian. I didn't even notice that. And judging by those tiny bras, I'm wondering if her boobs are anyway.
Purchase these as well. Back when I was a dental assistant, I was only earning $800 a week. Let's just say I earn a lot more than that now. Spicy content creating. We make 6 digits a month, the most that we have made in one.
All the things you could be doing with that kind of money, and you choose Louis Vuitton handbags. All right. I mean, we got a vice president who's going to the crime-ridden border wearing a $60,000 necklace, so I don't know why I would expect any different from a hoe in Australia, but sure.
1 month is $220,000. How do you think it'll look?
Yeah, hot.
I'm just getting ready to film some content for my online boyfriends. No, but he's just helping.
Okay, you notice it was plural. I'm going to film some content for my online boyfriends. Right? Her customers. She's filming content for her customers. But the way in which she said it, I'm just going to film some content for my online. It's like, it almost sounded like she was doing something nice for someone special in her life. But no, she's literally just doing some work for her customers.
Me with what I should wear. Oh, you like this one? That's hot.
She was doing it before
He'll give you
we
the
got together.
holistic
Once
yes.
we made it official and got together, we sort of went all out, I guess, on it.
Yeah, had a conversation about it. He actually brought up that we should film together. Made a lot of money from this one.
Together.
And I was all for it because I knew the potential earnings that
Did you give him part of the money?
And Ricky,
his money is my money, and my money is my money.
I'm the photographer.
Making sure that
getting the right angles, the hair's in place, there's no straps twisted.
Yeah.
See, you went from the boyfriend to now they're the boyfriend and you're the photographer. Again, boundaries, folks. Boundaries. Words are important. Words establish boundaries.
The light.
You should, like, if you're all the conversations we could have about cuckoldry aside, if you're in a situation like this, like, at least make her call them customers to you, right? If you're her boyfriend, you're her real life live-in partner, don't let her walk around saying boyfriend. If they're just customers, if there's a boundary there, if there's a disconnection there, don't let her call the same word she calls you.
Lighting's good.
She's scented. So right now we're just setting up to take some photos of Shana.
I just want to say, back when I was practicing polyamory, there were a lot of people in that polyamory community that, looking for the chair now for the rest of the video. Yes. There were a lot of people in the polyamory community who didn't like the idea of hierarchies. No. Look, if you've known somebody a long time and they're super special and they've been around longer than everyone else, there's gonna even an unofficial hierarchy. Like, there are some things you should do that's special for one person that's different than another person. Those differences are going to exist. Those hierarchies are going to exist. And whether or not they're healthy or not healthy, it doesn't matter. You have to acknowledge them and make sure that those people are the special people in your life. And again, I'm not trying to get in some debate with polyamorists. I'm not trying to do that. But this shit right here, calling customers your boyfriend and calling your boyfriend the photographer,
for online boyfriends.
I guess these men have trouble with dating on the outside world, and maybe they feel a little bit nervous.
Well, gee, I wonder why.
Going out.
Oh, gee, I wonder why. Now, look, I firmly place this blame on the simps. So understand, I'm criticizing her, but I'm criticizing the simps who's paying her for this content. But my God, it's a chicken or egg thing where it just perpetuates itself. Like, of course, you're going to have socially awkward guys because they can't talk to women like you. Yeah, you got a boyfriend here, but he's not even a boyfriend. He's your photographer. What chance do these guys have of actually connecting with a woman who cares about their feelings, who cares about them as a human being, if literally you're just in it for the money? And there are less and less women who have to make that kind of connection. And more of these dudes that just give up, stay home, and get it all through their computer screen. Because why put in the effort if I'm just going to be used for my money anyway? I'll just fap to you on the internet instead. This is insane. Now, granted, it's those dudes' fault. If they would let the money dry up, let OnlyFans die, then women would have to start developing a personality. These women wouldn't exist. So I firmly place the blame on the simps. But there'd be a lot less simps if these women would learn not to call the dudes that they do care about the photographer.
And having to talk and go to dates with women.
Make sure the lighting's all good. That's good to go.
Cool. You don't like me being the other person. That's why.
See that she's not even dressed yet, and he's doing the lighting check. Oh my God, he's like a full-fledged employee. Like, it'd be one thing if, like, we're gonna do this together, it's all special. No, he's like, no, I'm not focused on you, hot honey. I'm gonna
like to keep
play with
like
the camera
as well. Other than that, we're pretty good with our boundaries. Do you think the red's gonna look good here?
Pretty good with boundaries.
Yeah, good choice.
All right, I'm gonna go get changed. Let's make some content.
Sounds good.
Some of the arrangements that I have with the online dating is the weekly.
And of course, because YouTube's supposed to be family friendly, they don't show us her in her underwear, even though you see far worse on many YouTube channels.
Calls with the boyfriends that I have, sending them like daily voice notes, daily messages, and photos as well of what I'm doing throughout the day. I am just
okay, but daily voice notes, like. See, this always fascinates me because, like, how much of this is you actually giving a shit what they have going on during the day? Are you actually making a connection with these people? Are they becoming friends with you online? Are they becoming, like, are you having full-fledged relationship? Is this a form of just sponsored polyamory? Look, I refuse to believe. Now, again, maybe we'll get further into this. Maybe you are a full-out hoe if you'll have, actual physical relationships with these people. But if it's all through a phone screen, we're doomed.
Just about to go on my online date. He's one of my regulars, so I'm just doing the final touches to make sure that I look all good. Hey, I just put on this little black dress for you. I hope you like it. I can't wait to chat with you soon. 10 minutes would be
Meanwhile,
about
she aimed her
$1,000,
camera where you could see the dude in the background.
The longer that I stay online, I try not to do it for too long because I have plenty of boyfriends on there that I need to attend to.
And he's pouring wine for both of them. What in the universe?
I draw the line.
Oh my God, we're not even halfway through this, and I keep having to stop.
Mine would be when they try and ask me to meet up in real life. I obviously don't offer that service. We have had parts in our relationship where it has kind of affected it, where I would be spending too much time messaging my online boyfriends, but we've gone through and communicated with this.
So at the
Why were you spending that much time? Is it for the money, or were you catching feelings? Were you catching feelings for your online sponsored boyfriend?
Start when the whole girlfriend experience come on, I was pretty unsure about it. and we ended up having a little bit of a fight about it, and we sat down and spoke it out, and she gave me a bit of reassurance, and I became a bit more comfortable with it. At the end of the day, I choose to trust her.
You thought it was more of like a personal experience and that I could create, I guess, feelings for these people.
If I feel like she's spending too much time on the phone,
I'll
let it be known. That makes me feel a bit more secure and I feel like I'm talking about my deep feelings.
See, this is the problem. Is like you're selling something that doesn't really exist. This is the same shit to me as the subprime mortgage crisis, right? They were bundling loans and listing them as fucking AAA investments when they were shit loans that weren't ever going to be paid. They weren't real investments. That's the same thing. These dudes are investing time and money into this chick. And look, I'm sure at some point in the next 3.5 minutes, she's going to say, well, why I make sure there's a disclaimer. I make sure they know that there's no real feelings here. No, you're selling an experience of an emotional connection that only one person in that transaction is actually having.
A therapy lesson.
At the end of the day, these men know what they are signing up for.
There we go.
Not everything
you know what you're
online
signing up
can
for.
be real, but I try and make this as real as possible for them.
When we first got together, I had a few
I
group chats
try
that I
to
was
make
in,
it as
and
real
a few
as
of my
possible.
friends put in there that calling her a few nasty names and stuff, and telling me not to date her and trust her. But it was all just
Looking out for you.
Yeah, just trying to look out for me, I guess.
They don't actually know what I'm like as a person and what my intentions are.
So I guess at the start, like my parents and that, were a bit skeptical of what we were doing, but now they're more than fine if they're on board.
They get excited when they see us traveling around the world and
Living
doing
our best
all.
life.
And same with my mum. Like, I come from like nothing. I used to live in like Department of Housing. So her seeing me do all these amazing things makes her really proud.
All right then, darling, I'll leave you to it. Here's your
Wow.
wine and flowers, and I'll see you when you're done.
Thank you. See you soon.
Now, to think all these men could be using their money to do all these wonderful things, to travel, to get in hot air balloons and hotels with giant towers like that. But no, they're giving this woman money so that she can do those things with her boyfriend.
Most of the judgment that we cop is online, calling me names, that I'm dumb, I'm a dumb blonde. People they feel sorry for my partner,
you're not dumb.
that
You're
I'm
just
exposing
predatory.
myself to these men. People say, get a real job and stuff like
Yes,
that. But
yes.
in saying that,
builds
money's
character.
money. Yeah, the comments are quite
Money's
nasty
money.
sometimes. This one says, once she hits 35, she'll be doing the rounds at the truck stops.
Oh,
I mean,
shit.
I hope I'm not going to be doing that. Your parents
We'll
must be
see.
so proud. Well, thankfully, my mum is very proud. She's a absolute tramp. Her boyfriend's going to bail once the money stops coming in.
Oh, shit.
That's it, brutal.
You better not be going anywhere. A lot of the same kind of things of putting me down and calling me hurtful words. I guess also just slut shaming as well. To be honest, it doesn't really faze me. I think hurt people hurt people.
I still love the word slut shaming. We really need to use it a lot more, but in a positive way.
Relationship is healthy and we keep those boundaries in place, then that's all
that matters.
Yeah, 100%.
Because again, if you're all of those things, you
look at
should
any
be
of the
proud
online
of.
comments, and I don't view any of the posts that we put up, so I probably wouldn't even watch the show when it's up anyway. So
so we don't have to deal with the judgment
there's
of it.
definitely going to be some nasty comments on there, and
But that's okay.
I
bring
hide
it
my
on.
own reality from myself because I can't
judgment
handle the
definitely has
reality
brought
I
us
live
closer.
in.
Yeah, I always have Ricky here to support me.
as long as we got each other, it's kind of like having a best friend and a partner all in one.
100%, yeah. We are more best friends.
Not gonna lie, she got a
but I
nice
think
ass.
that's why it works.
As long as Shana's happy, I'm happy.
As long as we're happy and living our best
I would
life,
not put up
then
with
that's the
any of
main
this
thing
shit
for us.
for that ass.
You're walking off now, all right?
Yeah, I was just walking off.
Okay, so that's the Love Does Admonish segment. And folks, have some self-respect, have some dignity. There's a reason they call it the world's oldest profession, because there will always be lonely men in the world. And there will always be a woman who will be your girlfriend for a night. And it's important for you to know that she's not there for your heart. She's not there for your soul. She's there for your money. You can't make a hoe a housewife. Anyway, even if you're that dude there, I forget his name now. Even if you're what was his name? I'm rewatching some of it. Ricky. Yeah, if you're Ricky there, you can't make a hoe a housewife. You should know this. You failed man 101. All right. So that's our show for today. A quick show note. I don't know how many people we have still watching. Usually I do my Wednesday night show. We are looking yet at another debate week. The vice presidential debate is coming up on Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Central, I believe. I'm seriously considering doing yet another bingo stream. I don't know. I might put a poll up on X. So if you follow me on the social media, all of my social media is down in the description. So you can follow me on there. I might put a poll up. If there's not very much interest, because I'm sure everyone and their grandmother is going to be covering it. And I haven't been getting a lot of views on my debate streams, but it gives me something to do on a Tuesday night other than eat tacos. So, yeah, I might consider doing it. Let me know, folks. Let me know. If I do, I might do Wednesday as well, but it is what it is. If I wind up doing it Tuesday, I might skip Wednesday and go, have a night out or something. I know there's some things that happen around here on Wednesdays that I usually don't get to do because I'm doing my stream. Anyway, so stay updated by following me on the social media down below, and keep your eye open on the feed here. Subscribe, follow, whatever. Follow me on whatever platforms. Follow me here wherever you're watching me, and whether it be X, Rumble, or YouTube. And if I don't stream the debate, then I'll be here same bat time, same bat channel every Wednesday and Saturday, 6 p.m. Central. Please, folks, click that thumbs up button. Or if you're on X, I guess it's a heart. Click that like button. Let me know you've been around. Show up to the next stream and come in, say hello, join the party. Cheers, everybody. And of course, a cheers to those watching on demand later. Love y'all. Glad to have you here. Till next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Outlast those haters. Don't get any on you, and if you do, rub that shit in real good. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. This is Mild Kevin Miles signing off, saying good night.